Ah, yes. Ah, yes, we are ready. At the glorious, glorious sunset, we shall ride. Ooh, treasure thingy. Never mind. First things first. Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to more Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker HD. So, last time, we placed the 3 pearls on each of the Triangle Islands, and we have summoned the Tower of the Gods, according to Fishman. That's seriously his name. I've been mispronouncing it for all these years. And, well, we're gonna basically go through the Tower of the Gods today in order to prove ourselves as the hero. According to the gods, because they don't believe us, apparently. Yeah. Alright, so let's get on to it. Alright. 3rd dungeon time. Here we go. And actually, this is actually a relatively interesting thing, actually. So, it's actually quite kind of sort of common knowledge that Wind Waker actually has less dungeons than any other 3D Zelda up to this point. Well, maybe Majora's Mask. Well, Majora's Mask still has the least amount of, dungeons in any given 3D Zelda game, period. I mean, if you really don't count, if you really want to go the extra mile and not count Breath of the Wild as, a game where you go through dungeons, even though that's absolutely ridiculous. No. What I wanted to talk about here as we're going through this first little part of the tower is, well, the fact that, Jaboon just sort of gave us the pearl. We didn't really need to go to any given dungeon at all. Like, no dungeons. Just to get to the 3rd pearl. All we really had to do was just to sail across the sea, get the bombs, go back to home, and then, blow up the thing, and then there we go. Wind Waker apparently has a lot of cut content, and that includes dungeons. And I believe originally we would have to go through, and cut... What am I trying to say? A cut 3rd dungeon, I think, in order to, get the pearl. And, I think the Tower of the Gods would still remain. So, there's that. But, I think as is, now that I know more, like, there could have been an interesting, little water-themed dungeon, I guess, but I guess this is all that's meant to be, I suppose. But, anyway, here we are at the Tower of the Gods. This is the 3rd dungeon of the game. And, of course, this room is filled to the brim with choo-choos that are now brimming with electricity. Yeah, they're now packing electricity. We previously saw a little bit of this before in, the fact that, the blue choo-choos actually carried around electricity, or were packing electric threats. So, yeah. So now the regular choo-choos, or at least some of those regular choo-choos, are going to be, packing those kinds of, attacks, so. Yeah, be wary of that as you're going through here. But either way, this first part of the Tower of the Gods actually does have a little bit to do with our boat. Get used to it, by the way. It's pretty much the only place in the world that's gonna have you use your boat in a dungeon. Yeah. It may be used to get around the place, but at least you use the boat in some sense, other than to get you around places in dungeons. So I'll give it that. It all has to do with, dealing with the rising and falling of the water and junk. So you basically know the drill of that, I suppose. And, let's see. Gotta have to wait for this water to lower here. Alright. So, take this box, place it on top of there, and you get one of the best rainbow roads ever. A rainbow road created in an entirely straight line. We have the entire basis of Sonic Unleashed in one single bridge, so to speak. So, yeah. But either way, that's pretty much the gist of this room. You have to, well, place a box on top of the switch. And of course, the switch can only be held down by the box. And what we're after is this little statue right here. So now that we got that, I have to say, though, the sound effect that happens when you're near the door and it's just glowing like, oh, it's actually really, really cool. Like, it pretty much almost reminds me, of this one sound effect that you commonly hear in the Star Wars, particularly in the prequels, where, you know, a Jedi is going out of hyperspace, and, you know, they have to use these like, hyperspace rings, and, you know, you get to see inside the ship, and it just has that ooh sound. It's just, I don't know why, it's just, that sound reminds me of that sound. That's one of my favorite sounds in Star Wars. So, yeah. I just, I don't know, this dungeon is pretty interesting to me. I don't know. It's pretty interesting in the fact that, well, it's basically, well, the whole concept of the dungeon is to, well, obviously dungeons were meant and designed to test, you know, Link, you know? But I don't think in any Zelda up to this point has there been, like, basically a dungeon where it's specifically designed to test Link's capabilities of being a hero, aka solving puzzles and beating up monsters and all that crap. So I'll give the Tower of the Gods points that. It is at the very least, you know, very interesting in that regard. I shall give it that. And actually, I think we're supposed to do something neat in this room. The lighting is so good. Yeah, seriously, I can't get enough of this lighting. Like, seriously, the lighting is even better than I actually originally thought. Alright, so in this room, basically we had to light the stick on fire. We had to make platforms with the rising water and the blocks and junk. And with that, we light up the candles so we can get this small key right here, so that we can move on to the next part. But beware, because, well, I didn't even mention these choo-choos. These are yellow choo-choos. And I think in terms of their enemy drops, I think they can dish out on any kind of chew jelly, because there's no yellow chew jelly, actually. There's only red, green, and blue chew jelly. So, yeah, there's no yellow one, which is strange, but okay. So, it's something. It's definitely something. But, wait, what was I gonna say? Oh, yeah, I was about to say, like, here's actually another... I don't think I've actually mentioned this change before. But I'm actually thanking Christ for this. Because they actually fixed up the cruise speed. Like, you use ZR to cruise on the King of Red Lions without, you know, needing to sail or anything. Because there's no wind in here, obviously, because we're indoors. And they actually fixed up the cruise speed, so it's a little bit faster. So I'm actually pretty thankful for that. Very, very thankful indeed. But either way, we're actually here on the other side right now. We could have technically done this earlier, but we needed a small key in order to fully access this place. But, oh boy, this guy. Alright, so these are bubbles. These are basically the floating skeletons. And basically, this is a red bubble. And I could have sworn to God I completely blew up that chest. But, whatever. We got a compass. Hooray. So, I think the only way to actually make me destroy these things is actually to use bombs. Yeah. Yeah, that will cause them to get rid of their, you know, little fire. And, you know, that way they can be easily destroyed. So, yeah. Either way, we got an eye switch up there. That is a hint of an item that we're probably going to get in this dungeon. Probably, maybe, possibly. Actually, definitely. But either way, yeah, you're gonna have to constantly deal with the fact that the water level is rising and lowering, and falling? Yeah, falling is the proper term. Ow. And, yeah, that can get... If you're impatient, then this is basically your worst nightmare right there. Okay, can you just die, please? Thank you. That could get a little bit tiring after a little bit, but, you know, it's not that bad. It really isn't. And I thought you had to use a statue down here, but apparently I was wrong. I am wrong, everyone. Also, epic speedrunning tactic and probably in my great... Oh, wait, never mind. Never mind. So, speedrunning tactic. Get all these yellow chews to, well, not shock you, but instead get all these yellow chews to get you to get the phone black. And, let's see. Come on. Is that it? Ah! Well, there goes my speedrunning. Oh yeah, and they also apparently dropped the green chews too, so... Yay? Okay. But either way, destroy all those yellow chews and you'll get access to the statue, and of course you know what to do with it. You know how the deal is at this point. So, yeah. Either way, let's carry the statue around here. And we can carry it all the way over to here. And with that, we now open the way to the rest of the dungeon. Ooh, first part. But actually, we're not exactly done here quite yet. We are going to go back to this room a little bit later. But what we want to do next, in order to get a treasure chest, is, well, obviously lighting those candles. So, or lighting the torches. Whichever thing that Zelda likes to do for torches. Unspeakable medieval torches. Okay, so light these. And there we go. Treasure chest. And thankfully the stick ran out of fire, so there's that. And we get a joy pendant as a reward. Very nice. Always good to have more of those, especially considering that we'll need them. Either way, let's get it back onto our boat and sail away. Or cruise away, whichever one you prefer. Whichever one you prefer, it's all good. It's all fine. And we're actually doing good on treasure chests so far. We only have the one, but we won't get that until later. Ow. Even though that didn't really hurt. Okay. So next up is this room. So that thing right there, I believe that's this game's BMOS. And as you all know, on BMOS, they shoot beams. Laser beams. Because Zelda is filled with laser beams. So, yeah. Get these statues onto 2 of these and then press the 3rd one yourself. And there you go. We don't actually have a way of destroying the BMOS yet. So, that's going to be, you know, a bit of a problem for us until we actually find a way to deal with them. Oh, and also, there are rats in here, so... Yeah, that's another precaution. Be careful. Because, again, rats are jerks because they steal your money. They steal your money. They steal your girl. Actually, they don't really steal your girl. But it's not nice to think about. But either way, here we have basically the central hub for part 2 of the Tower of the Gods here. So... go into the room that's glowing first. So, yeah, or go into the room that's basically glowing first. Yeah. That's your current objective, basically. So, there you are. And there you go. And here's actually... I didn't really point... I think I pointed this out before. But I like the little detail that Link actually looks at something. I mean, yeah, Link actually does look at things that might be interesting. And that's basically given an indication that, you know, you're supposed to do something. But we can't really do anything about that yet until later, so... yeah. Seeker of the Goddess's Guidepost. Press ZR to call me and guide me to my place of truth.
Come on!
just face it. Our minds were blown when we discovered that Link could talk. Yeah. Basically put, Link can actually sort of speak in this game. He kind of says, come on. But maybe that could be just, you know, a lie. Maybe Link still can't talk at all, and he's just saying, kaga, or something. I don't know. Or something like that. He could be saying something like that. But let's just face it. In 2003 or 4, whenever this game came out, whatever year, we all thought he actually spoke for the very first time in his life. Until you actually realize that the Zelda cartoon technically had a speaking Link first. So, haha. Haha, your minds are still blown, but whatever. That cartoon was apparently very, very not good. Be the way, that was basically our objective. We have to, well, for basically the majority of this little portion of the Tower of the Gods, basically, get all these statues to the same room. Then we can ascend higher into the tower. And would you look at this? There appear to be markings that indicate specific directions. Just like with the Wind Shrine at the Dragon blah 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 Wind Waker. I said Wind Waker. We've learned the command melody. I thought as a kid this was actually called the command medley. I do reading very good, I can. My kin wait beyond the doors. Control them and guide them to their places of truth to open the path to the gods. Alright, so we now know what we have to do. So, with a new Wind Waker song in hand, we shall go ahead and continue our trek through the Tower of the Gods to get all the statues to their proper place next time. So with that, I will indeed see you guys on the next time. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.